Opposition political parties in Burkina Faso laid the groundwork before the political dialogue proposed by President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore. There will be no referendum on May 27 in Madagascar. The Supreme Constitutional Court gave an unfavorable opinion on Thursday evening against the referendum convened by President Andry Rajoelina. Just 1 month after the tremendous passage of Idai further south in Mozambique, tropical cyclone Kenneth swept in the north coast of the country on Thursday night. One person has been killed and many homes destroyed. These are our top stories. Stay tuned for more details in this newscast. A decision taken a little time after the announcement of the decree calling on voters. Former President Marc Ravalomanana had also denounced the lack of respect for the Constitution. Hoping to succeed, the Malagasy president was considering amending certain provisions of the current constitution, including the annulment of the Senate and the granting of more power to the regional authorities. These are campaign promises which hopefully he thought could be put into practice as soon as possible, but this could not be possible if not in line with the Constitution. For indeed, he needed to wait a few months after the renewal of the National Assembly for him to be able to act. Although President Andry Rajoelina took note of this decision, he is not giving up. We are held back in our drive to achieve effective decentralization, he wrote. In the media, the head of state said on Wednesday that he had filed an application for constitutionality with the High Constitutional Court. But the court remains formal. The President of the Republic is only empowered to organize a referendum of consultation or ratification, but not a constitutional revision. After this setback, the head of state's director of communications said on her Facebook page that it would finally be necessary to wait for the renewal of the National Assembly to be elected before amending the constitution. Prior to holding the political dialogue proposed by President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore, the opposition put some conditions before addressing the issue of future polls and the security situation. Led by its leader Zéphirin Diabré, the opposition points out these issues are not the only ones to be debated. Many other points would deserve as much attention to put the country back on track. We cannot go to a political dialogue just to discuss electoral code issues. There are serious problems that our country is going through today. We are caught in the grip and in the hell of the terrorist threat. Our economy is down. We have a crisis in the education system today, declared Zéphirin Diabré. Beyond the points raised, questions remain at the center of the discussion. The participation of opposition parties will depend on certain conditions. According to Zéphirin Diabré, the issues related to consensus with its implementation as well as its deadline has to be addressed in advance so that the opposition does not engage into such discussion like any other, wondering whether their proposals will be taken into account and what the next step will be once the discussions are over. These are key points that need to be addressed before getting into an event of this nature. The leader of the opposition and his comrades have also called their compatriots to a sacred unity against intercommunal violence that has killed dozens of people. One could believe in a relentless attack of Mother Nature on Mozambique. Hardly the country is recovering from the devastation of Cyclone Idai in the country that Kenneth, another cyclone, is announced. While descending onto the north of Mozambique, the cyclone caused huge floods and landslide in the province of Cabo Delgado, located on the border with Tanzania, which since 2017 has been facing an Islamic insurrection that the authorities failed to control. All the lights are red in the country. On Thursday morning, flights to Pemba, the largest city in northern Mozambique, were cancelled. The government has not ordered the closure of all schools in the region as a precaution. According to the Mozambian Institute for Emergency Management, nearly 700,000 people are under threat by Kenneth. Some forecasts estimate at 5 meters the maximum height of the waves likely to reach the Mozambican coast. The International Federation Red Cross and Red Crescent societies said they were particularly worried about the damage this new hurricane could cause after Idai. The country, already on its knees following the first disaster, may not survive another one. Residents of areas believed to be affected have started migrating to neighboring countries. The space conquest is the subject of a fierce competition between Americans and Soviets, but they only have to behave well because Africans too will be following suit. In January, the African Union endorsed the creation of an African Space Agency, sending a strong message to the rest of the world. Africa too looks to the stars and arms itself to conquer the space. It is Egypt which will host the headquarters of an African Space Agency this year. Earth observation, resource management, spatial planning, the fight against climate change, the reduction of gender disparities, the surveillance of diseases, space potential in Africa is immense, explains Jean-Yves Le Gall, president of the National Center for Space Studies. The data collated by satellite will, for example, predict a malaria epidemic. There is a correlation between mosquito larvae that spread malaria and moisture levels. Thanks to the satellite, the public authorities will be able to anticipate. The African Space Agency will also serve as a forum for dialogue between international bodies and Africa. More and more countries will be associated in one way or the other with a space program on the continent. Cooperations will multiply. This agency is more than an advertisement. It is an idea, an ambition, and a positioning compared to the rest of the world. Remember that it will now be necessary to count with Africa in space. Opposition political parties in Burkina Faso laid the groundwork before the political dialogue proposed by President Roch-Marc Christian Kabore. There will be no referendum on May 27 in Madagascar. The Supreme Constitutional Court gave an unfavorable opinion on Thursday evening against the referendum convened by President Andry Rajoelina. Just 1 month after the tremendous passage of Idai further south in Mozambique, Tropical Cyclone Kenneth swept in the north coast of the country on Thursday night. That's all for our newscast today. Stay tuned on Gabon 24 for more news.